thanks. Like, hey, Scoob, did you hear Nikki Blake is hosting a Scooby-Doo panel? No. Yeah. Like on today's Scooby-Doo episode, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy meet Nikki Blake. Yeah, and a Scooby Panel. Like, we need to get this puppy started. Okay, Nikki Blake, take it away, Scooby-Doo.
Welcome to the Scooby Panel. I'm your host, Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com, and today we are talking about Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Before we begin, I'll have everyone introduce themselves, and Wendy will start with you.
Hi guys, I'm Wendy BRYDGE. I'm a commission artist. I've been collecting Scooby for over 30 years, and because it's Ghoul School, that means Scrappy. Nikki's thrilled. Look at her face. Yay. Da, 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 da.
Hi, I'm Devin Frankentine, and I like to go on long walks through Barren Bog.
Joel?
Hi there, I'm Joel, and I just suck at intros.
Solid intro.
Oh gosh, we are talking about Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and I wrote a little summary, so I'm going to read that. Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy head to Miss Grimwood's finishing school for ghouls as the new gym teachers. They are met with frights as they meet the girls one by one and realize they are monsters. They try to leave, but Miss Grimwood reminds them they signed a contract. So they all put tutus on and do some ballet to get ready for the volleyball game against the Callaway Cadets. The girls win and get the trophy. Their dads come to visit for an open house, and they show them the gifts they made them. And then as they leave, the dads threaten Shaggy and Scooby to make sure they take care of their girls. Shaggy, Scooby, and Scrappy take the girls on a field trip to Barren Bog, where Revolta brainwashes them into only obeying her so she can get them to do her bidding. The Callaway Cadets come to the rescue and save them. They all head back to Miss Grimwood's for a dance party and Scrappy's rap.
Yep, that about sums it up.
That's right. Yeah.
And I just wanted to mention the voice actors because there's some pretty cool people that voice the characters in this. So Casey Kasem was Shaggy and Mirror Monster Shaggy. Don Messick was Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Remy Auberjonas as Baxter. Susan Blue as Sibella. Hamilton Camp as Phantom Father. Jeff B. Cohen as Grunt. Glynis Johns as Miss Grimwood. Zale Kessler as Daddy Dracula, Frankentine Sr. and Vulture No. 2. Retta Lee as Revolta. Aaron Lohr as Miguel. Patty Maloney as Tanis. Scott Menville as Tug. Pat Music as Elsa Frankentine. Bumper Robinson as Jamal. Ronnie Shell as Colonel Calloway. Marilyn Schreffler as Winnie. Andre Stochka as the Grim Creeper, Mummy Daddy, and Vulture No. 1. Russie Taylor as Phantasma, and Frank Welker as Matches, Papa Werewolf, Well Dweller, Spider Bats, Legs, and the Two-Headed Shark. I think that was a great cast, personally. I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the intro to the movie. Wendy, your thoughts?
Okay, the intro's fun, but it's also kind of weird. I can't help but compare it to Boo Brothers because the movies are such a similar feeling and definitely a similar time period. Having them acknowledge the writing of the credits, I understand how they thought that might be like a cute and fun thing to do, but it's just kind of weird. The only part of it that I'm into is when Shaggy's like, not while I'm driving, Scoob, and he shoves it away, and then Scrappy's like, don't forget about me. Okay, and I love that, but I don't know, the whole like Shaggy writing and what writing, and I mean, it's a cool effect when the windshield wiper washes it away and stuff. I don't like why, I don't know. It was just kind of weird for me. Usually I like that kind of stuff, but in this instance, it just didn't quite work for me. The other issue that I had with the opening was This movie, I think, out of every Scooby-Doo movie from the very first one until the most recent one, for me, Ghoul School visually is the most beautiful. The background work, the animation quality of the characters designs, it is like 10 out of 10 across the board. That Ghoul School logo, though, in the intro, I'm so sorry, but who designed that? Because that missed the mark completely. It doesn't suit the movie. It doesn't suit any of the aesthetic of anything in the intro or the movie for me. Also think that because it is such a like a girly kind of movie, and it's the whole like pretty and spooky and that kind of stuff, those big giant block lettering, why I can think of like at least like 10 different ways that I would have designed a logo for a school of ghouls who are all glam and beautiful and cute, and then they just drop this extremely masculine logo, like bam, there it is. And that was so jarring for me because I am that person. Even when I was a kid, I'm the first time I'm watching a movie, and honestly, like I'm rarely paying attention to the plot. I am so distracted with the background art and like visually what is going on, and that completely took me out of what it was building and then what I know it turns into. So unlike the Boo Brothers intro, which was like 100 out of 10, Ghoul School intro, because of the logo and the weird whatever they were trying to do, I mean, I'm only going to give it like a 5 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. Devin?
Yeah, I didn't really I mean, I took note on the logo, what it looked like, but I guess I didn't really think about it too hard. But I agree now that you're saying it. It doesn't really fit the aesthetic of like the whole, it's a girls' school. It should be a little bit more, yeah, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. But I have to disagree with you, Wendy, that
Okay.
I love when the credits are going and the circle comes up on Scooby's face, and then he pulls it over to Shaggy, and Shaggy's like, "Not while I'm driving, Scoob." And I think that's silly. It's goofy. It gets you right into it being a cartoon. But just like you, like, I couldn't stop thinking about Boo Brothers the entire time I was watching this, because it's right after, so you're like, okay, what did they do next? And this is missing a nice, like, song introducing the Ghoul School or something. Like, it could be like it could even be like something like a marching band or like a pep rally or something school related if they want to do like a song like that. But I feel like a song would have helped this. And yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a very strong opening. Didn't love that. I hate the red mystery machine. It sucks. It's not the mystery machine, which is weird because again, comparing to Boo Brothers, I did like the Jeep they were driving in Boo Brothers. I didn't mind that. But this, like, it just feels so weird and off, and I just don't like it. I like the design of it for, like, something else. Like, for another cartoon or another show or something else, but not for, like, this is their thing they're driving around. Don't love that. I do love a movie that opens up with people, like, lost driving on a road in the, like, stormy night, and it's raining out, and they're like, where are we? That's great. That's classic. That's what Scooby-Doo should be. There was something else. Shaggy or Scrappy reaches into the grub compartment, which I loved. That the glove compartment is the grub compartment, and they just have a sandwich in there.
Check the grub compartment. Hey, there's a sandwich left.
A+ for that. That's all I got on the intro.
Joel?
I don't think I can add anything more. I agree kind of with both of you. I think I liked it more than Wendy, though. I did like the spotlight part. Logo was, they could have been more creative with that logo. Especially, I guess they didn't really recognize how this movie would live on, maybe, perhaps. Probably low budget, too. Probably spent a lot of their money on the voice cast, which is phenomenal. A lot of actors, too, they'd have to pay off. A lot of people in this movie. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with Devin, too. Like, it would be nice if they had an opening song. I was thinking maybe move the rap song to the start. But I like the surprise of the rap song at the end. But maybe they could have the rest of the cast in the rap song instead of maybe Scrappy just doing it. They could have each ghoul kind of, maybe I don't know, did the ghouls rap? I forget now. I thought it was just Scrappy.
I think it was
It's
just
Scrappy.
Scrappy.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be cool maybe to just follow up, but have all the ghouls because you wouldn't want to see those ghouls with all those voices rap. It'd be fun. That's. I'll stop right there. That's all I got.
Okay, quick question. I'm blanking right now. Which show has the intro with all the monsters in it? Is it Miss Scooby-Doo Mysteries? New Scooby-Doo Mysteries?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, one of the seasons of that. Yeah.
Okay, so if they did had all the dads doing the Thriller dance, I'd be into that.
That'd be pretty cool.
Just take that, put it here, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I would also say to the tune of Saturday Night,
Okay.
SCOOBYDOO. Anyway.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. Yeah.
I do agree that the intro needed some help. I also kind of like the spotlight thing, but at the one point they had the names in the headlights
Yeah.
for Hanna-Barbera. And I feel like if they were going to do that, they should have stuck with that through it and then also did the light joke because it was kind of funny. I thought it was really weird that they had weights in the back and Scrappy's like, I'm gonna lift weights, and then he almost falls out of the van and it's like,
And you were
what
like,
is
I
happening?
wish.
Like, this hasn't I'm not gonna lie, I did think that.
Well, it's because they're gym teachers, though, so they had gym equipment.
I have a lot to talk about that when we get to it. Hold
But I
on.
mean, are there really weights in school? Because I feel like
Yeah.
There was at our high school.
Yeah, no, we had weights.
in the weight room, but not during
Yeah.
gym class. We didn't lift
No.
weights during gym class.
Well, we did it during. We had a weightlifting course or whatever you call that, where we did it for a couple weeks type of thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
I do have one more note on the intro actually that I just remembered.
Okay.
No one probably noticed this besides me. When Scooby is doing his tail wiper on the thing, he's squatting on the hood of this car, and it looks like he's about to take a dump on the hood of the car. The way he's positioned, watch it back. You'll see exactly what I mean. The way he's squatting looks crazy. Just saying. Okay.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It was an odd position, yes. And then Shaggy, I don't know if this was supposed to be a sexist thing, but he's like, I'm ready to get to that fancy girls' school and taste some of their fancy cooking, because it's a girls' school,
Like I'm ready to get to this fancy girls' school and taste some of their fancy cooking.
I don't know.
See, I feel like that's really endearing, though. I don't know why people take offense to that, because I'm like, if you want to assume that I'm really good at doing something because I'm a girl, please do. That's not an insult. I mean, if it was like a derogatory thing where it's like, oh my God, we're going to starve to death here at this freaking girls' school, because girls can't cook. I mean, that would be one thing, but I don't know. The assumption that you're going to be good at something, I don't know how anybody can get mad about that.
We're on topic with this, so I don't want to jump ahead here, but I have to jump ahead a little bit. What is this school? Because they're doing a lot of exercising and stuff, but then there's I don't want to jump ahead too much, but they're doing arts and crafts and stuff, and why is it so much exercise? What is the point of this school? Does Shaggy assume it's a cooking school? What is this? What is it? Any answers?
I'm not sure, and later I'll be able to explain why, but
Okay, because I don't think the movie knows either.
I'm pretty sure that the movie did not know what was happening. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have one other question though, based on something Devin said, and somebody may have to look it up. Is the van in this the same van that's in 13 Ghosts?
The exact
it's a red van. The Jeep was green in Boo Brothers, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious if this van is actually the van from 13 Ghosts or if it's a totally different design other than it being red.
Did the one in 13 Ghosts have that weird, in the front, it's kind of really pointy and
Is it? I can't picture it other than that it's red.
Nikki, you're going to have to put it in later.
Yeah. I'll put a comparison in. We'll figure it out. Before we get into actually talking about the movie itself, I want to talk about the characters. So I want to talk about Scooby and Shaggy's demeanor. Devin, what are your thoughts on them?
I mean, for the most part, they seem kind of like the same as usual for the most part. But I do find it weird that they show up to the school. I have more to say about this in a second. But so basically, they show up to the school. They're scared right away, as they do. But like the girls aren't doing anything scary. Usually, in like an episode of Scooby-Doo, it's like, oh, a scary monster is being scary, and they're scared and they run away. But like this, it's like the girls aren't doing anything really scary. They just kind of are there, and they're like, "Oh, we're so scared" for like 5 seconds, and then instantly they're like not scared for the entire rest of the movie, except for when the dads show up again for 5 seconds, and then they're instantly not scared again. So like, why do they get scared when the parents show up if they know that it's the parents of the girls that are good, not monsters, quote unquote? Like, I don't. They're all over the place a little bit. It's a little bit odd, and also I want to know, why did they take this job? Because like they're not going, because I know that Scooby-Doo, it's like they show up places and mysteries happen on accident, right? But like they show up and like they know, do they know it's a monster school, or they find that out when they get there? And so that's why they're scared, because they have this contract that they already signed. And they're like, oh, Miss Grimwood's like, you guys can't leave. Like, you already signed the contract. But they're just meeting for the first time, but they signed this contract in person. So like, do they already know her? Do they not already know her? And why are they going to school to teach them sports? Because Shaggy and Scooby aren't like known as sports guys. They solve mysteries. Why did they sign up to go teach sports? I don't understand.
It also doesn't make sense because the name of the school is Miss Grimwood's Finishing School for Ghouls.
Yes. And can I,
So,
I might be lost. What is a finishing school? I don't know what that is, I guess. What is it?
it's like,
He's explaining. He's
I'm
explaining.
trying to tell you. Did you get
Oh,
that? Did you
oh yeah.
understand what
Okay.
he
Now I
said?
get, we don't have to even discuss it. I get it. Yeah.
A finishing school is almost like a school that is trying to teach you to be like, I guess, dainty. It's going to teach you
Oh,
how
it's
to
like
do like things that girls should do, like
proper,
walk
like
with a book
proper.
on your head. And yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a prep school.
And how
Got
do
it.
I know this? Because I actually went to modeling and finishing school.
How many books can you carry on your head at once?
I don't know anymore, but I literally had to do that when I was there.
Insert
Wow.
footage of Nikki demonstrating.
Yeah,
There will
please,
be no
stop.
footage.
Do that.
There's no videos, there are pictures. No videos. And
Okay.
no, I'm not putting the pictures in here.
That makes sense why all the girls are very polite and like, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joel, your thoughts on Scooby and Shaggy's demeanor?
Yeah, they're similar-ish, I guess. Not, I don't know. They weren't the same as Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Or Scooby-Doo show, but the Scrappy era, very similar. I want to get back to that contract. I just like the two paw prints on it. That cracked me up. Shaggy, although this has a payoff, just the watch he wears, even though it's not in every scene, it kind of jumps around. But I like the watch face that he actually had. But I was just mesmerized for like so many minutes, just going, "Where's his watch gone? Oh, it's back. It's there. Oh, where'd it go?" Like it was just weird seeing a watch on him, and then it kept disappearing, and I didn't know if I was hallucinating. And yeah, and his shirt was weird and all that. But yeah, I think noticeable to me was Scrappy. He seemed more neutered than normal. He just seemed kind of chill and kind of, I don't know, just kind of more of a background character when he should have been more in the forefront.
Yeah. Wendy, your thoughts on Scooby and Shaggy?
Yeah, quickly to piggyback on what Joel just said about Scrappy. I feel like Scrappy got such a starring role in Boo Brothers that when Ghoul School came around, they're like, yeah, okay, in the background you go. And that was kind of a little bit jarring. I think that neutered was the perfect term to describe the difference between previous Scrappy and this one. He's still the one who's doing, figuring stuff out, getting things done, but it is very much more of like a sidekick role, and maybe even like a little bit less than that, which is also interesting because And I'm not going to say whether I like this or I don't, because the jury's kind of out on that. Joel's right. This is in no way, shape, or form classic Scooby and Shaggy. But it really wasn't them either in Boo Brothers, and obviously in all of the subsequent series that happened in the 80s. It tweaks them a little bit. But taking that, like, fear factor out of them. Now, yes, of course, they do very quickly, which is also a little jarring how quickly they snap out of it. You know, they're not, I think when they heard Miss Grimwood's finishing school for ghouls, I think they just assumed that ghouls was like a slip of the tongue, or not really. I don't think they took it literally. So yes, I think they were definitely surprised when they came in and it's like, holy crap, it's monsters. But they're so quick to get over it, which is very un-Scooby and Shaggy. Now, again, it's not that I don't like it. I'm not saying that I don't. It's just, it's different. And that combined with Scrappy almost not needing to be here. To be honest, the only actual key function of Scrappy in this for me is like being the bridge between Matches and Scooby and Shaggy until they get to like each other. I don't really want to see this movie without Scrappy, but I think if you took him out of it, he could easily be written out, and it could be just Scooby and Shaggy. I feel like he really is just like a liaison with the rest of the people, because Scrappy never experiences those moments of being scared. But in this one, he almost seems like out of touch with reality too, though, because he's not even, I know that, yeah, he doesn't recognize danger in the same way that other people do ever, but I don't know, he just seems a little clueless when Scooby and Shaggy are interacting with the dads, and then the dads like threaten them. Now, I guess maybe it's that Scrappy didn't hear the threat. Maybe that's why he's so like blasé about it. Like, oh, aren't they so nice? You know, maybe he just didn't hear the threatening part. But yeah, so Scooby and Shaggy being so much more normal. I don't know. I almost want to see this movie with classic Scooby and Shaggy just to see how it would be different. I do love this movie. I don't really have complaints about it, but their demeanor it's very different than classic Scooby if you really stop and you think about it. Now, the great thing about the movie as a whole, though, how it's written, what it looks like, I feel like unless you are specifically having the thought, compare this to classic Scooby, you don't really notice that there's something quote unquote wrong or something different. It's only when you start thinking about it that you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's because they're not scared. I almost have more of an issue with how quickly they took to the disgusting food.
Yeah.
That was a surprise, where they just like, at first they were grossed out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool, toadstools and rotten whatever, and we're fine with it. That required like maybe just like a tiny bit too much of like suspension of disbelief for me within the Scooby realm, because eating weird foods and eating like rotten foods to me is not the same thing.
Yeah.
And it kind of got treated as if it was just like the weird stuff that they always would be eating that other people would be grossed out at, but they're not. So them taking to it so quickly was like a tiny bit off-putting again, but only when my brain was going back to classic Scooby. If you can watch this movie and just not think about anything else, 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. But they are very different. I appreciate that they overcome their fear, and I suppose it also makes sense that, you know, this is getting much later in Scooby's canon. It's at the very end. I mean, to be honest, I would say that Ghoul School is the end of what I would consider classic Scooby canon. Everything, because like next up is Pup Scooby, and that is a total departure, and it never goes back to being classic after that. So to me, Ghoul School is like the end of classic Scooby.
Wouldn't
And
the werewolf be next?
I thought the werewolf one came before this, but that one's even more removed.
I looked it up earlier because I was wondering. They came out, according to Google, I didn't look any farther than this, so just trusting Google. They came out the same year. I think that Reluctant Werewolf came out in September, and this had 2 dates for it, but they were earlier. It was like January, yeah. So I think this was first the same year.
Okay, yeah. To me, Reluctant Werewolf is like, I can put Ghoul School and Boo Brothers in the same category. Reluctant Werewolf for me is like its own thing. I have a hard time associating it with anything. I like it, but it is so far removed from everything. And they just like amped up that like humor comedy factor to such a degree that I'm like, this isn't even Scooby. It's enjoyable, but it's not Scooby. So I don't know that I would even consider that within my definition of like the classic Scooby canon. I mean, technically it would be, yes, but it's so different. Even Shaggy having a girlfriend takes it to some whole other place. But yeah, it's nice to see the boys getting over their fear to go and save the girls. Like, that's a really big deal. And given that it is at the end of Scooby's classic run, it's good to see them mature, which is what we got from Scrappy and Boo Brothers, where it's like, yeah, if you were aging and you were getting older and you're living your life and everything, hopefully you would mature to the point where, like, yeah, somebody's in trouble, don't need a Scooby stack, don't need anybody to like prod me, you need help, we're gonna come and help you. So that was nice. I wish they had included Scrappy more in that, the way that Boo Brothers was, but it's still okay. And every interaction that Scrappy has with Matches, because Matches is so cute, I can't with Matches. And then he gets with Scrappy and I'm just like, come to my house, I want a baby dragon that's nasty to everyone except me and Scrappy.
Wow. Devin, tell us your thoughts on Scrappy, since they already mentioned him. And
well, okay, before I get to Scrappy, I got one more thing to say about Scooby and Shaggy. And it's, again, about how they are not scared, or they're scared for 5 seconds, and then all of a sudden they're not scared again. Because to jump all the way to the end, the very end of this movie, Miss Grimwood's like, Shaggy and Scoob, we got 3 new students for you. And they're like, more monsters, ah! And then they run away, they get in the car, and they're like, phew, thank God we got rid of those guys. And then Scrappy's like, look, guys, the girls are waving. And then they're like waving from the porch. And I'm like, are they scared or are they not scared? I don't understand. Like, I don't. It's too all over the place. Like, it's very odd. It's odd. But they did have an orange creature from the Black Lagoon at the end, and I kind of like that. That was fun. Scrappy, as you mentioned earlier, he raps. So, 10 out of 10 for that, obviously. He also wants to hear some rock and roll because she's like playing, what's her name? Phantasma? Is that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's playing the piano, and he's like, yo, play me some rock and roll on that thing. And I'm like, okay, Scrappy wants to get down in this. Let's see, what else do I have on Scrappy? He's either very optimistic or delusional, which is, again, what Wendy was saying, is every time something happens, he's very upbeat about it when something maybe dangerous is happening, and I can't tell what's going on with him there. He might just be crazy. And also, he is so... I feel like it's more than in the show. He, like, Scooby can murder someone. Scooby can murder someone. He's like, well, that's just my Uncle Scooby. Like, he's just ready to go along with anything that Scooby does, and I like him for that.
yeah, I don't know. Scrappy was annoying. I felt like they definitely like made him less mature, because in Boo Brothers he was so much better, and then in this he was just ugh. Like when he said, I'm puppy positive before catapulting themselves off the tree.
Are you sure this will work, Scrappy? I'm puppy positive.
After he said that, I was just like, ugh, like out loud. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't take him in this.
Can we cut Nikki's video feed right now, or the audio or something? Like, where's the button? Where is it? Where is it?
And for Scooby, did he actually say Toodaloo and then howl at the end?
I think so.
Wait.
Instead of
he
saying
did, yeah.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, he said Toodaloo.
Yeah.
I
That
was
sounds
kind of
right.
disappointed by that.
Well,
Well, this one's for the girls, you know?
But it's Ghoul School, not Girl School.
That's true.
So
That is true.
I thought it was cute. I was okay with it.
I also, this has nothing to do with anything, but I'm just gonna, because you said Toodaloo, and it just sounds like it. When they put those tutus on, I love that they don't have like a full outfit change or anything. Everyone is just in their regular like outfits, and they just have the pink tutu on.
Yeah.
It's pretty great. Yeah, I do love that.
let's talk about the Ghoul School girls.
Okay.
So there is Sibella, Winnie the Werewolf, Elsa Frankenteen, Phantasma, and Tanis. Joel, what are your thoughts on the Ghoul School girls?
I am the wrong person to be talking about the Ghoul School girls. But I'll say some polite things. I liked how Elsa was named after Elsa Lanchester, who played the bride in the original Bride of Frankenstein. I don't think there's a knockoff of Bride of Frankenstein, so I don't know why I said original Bride of Frankenstein. Rumor has it Angelina Jolie was going to play her, but I'm going off on a tangent. Tanis, named after a city in Egypt, like that. Elsa's voice, Sibella's voice kind of was a little risque. Probably some mothers who were like listening, going, "What the hell is my kid watching?" The little werewolf girl, I was on the fence with her. The Phantasm girl, I was like, she's a specter, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, it's okay. It's very for girls kind of thing, so I wasn't really into them. I can see the appeal, though. They just don't really appeal to me.
Wendy, your thoughts on
Oh
the
my
Ghoul girls?
gosh. Okay. All of you were fired from the panel. Yeah,
I didn't even go yet.
Scrappy and I are gonna. You don't have to. I can tell. You're just
Read my notes. Read my notes.
okay. Well, I love the girls. I will say Winnie just a little bit annoying. I personally did not find any of the other girls annoying. Phantasma's, yeah, maybe not that. That we maybe could have done without, but she is the Invisible Man's daughter, so I wish she had an invisible voice sometimes. But
Whoa.
Sibella, guys, this is my ode to Sibella. I love Sibella. Sibella is maybe my favorite, like, non-Scooby character other than Scooby-D and Scrappy. I love Sibella. I can even get behind Susan Blue doing her voice. I'm like, somehow I don't care for her in any other voice role, but I'm like, Sibella's voice, like, that was made for her. I'm okay with it. Totally bought it. She is clearly inspired. Her look is clearly inspired by Elvira, which right then and there, a purple version of Elvira, I'm there for it. Any day ending in Y. Fantastic. She's got the hair, she's got the dress, she's got the pose. I love it. And then to boot, she's Dracula's daughter. I mean, come on. If I ever cosplay as anything in my life that's Scooby related, it's not going to be Daphne, it's going to be Sibella. I love Sibella. I actually love the design of all of the girls. And that is why at the end, even though we only get like a quick little pan across the new girls that are there, I'm assuming that they just were like so tired of making this movie that by the time they got to the end, the character designers were like, F it, just creature, dinosaur, what?
See,
a dinosaur?
Was that Godzilla? I didn't even bother pausing it.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Maybe. Or maybe the Loch Ness Monster or something? Okay, yeah.
I was over the movie. I didn't even bother pausing it. I was like, I'm sorry.
Those designs for the new girls were so boring compared to the main cast. Like the main cast girls, I don't know that I would change anything about their appearance. I thought that they nailed those character designs. They obviously took arguably the most popular Universal monsters and did girls for that. And then, like, yeah, I mean, I do love Creature from the Black Lagoon, which is probably why I was so disappointed at the end, because I'm like, it's just the creature with a freaking bow. It's that they didn't do anything fun to it. Whereas like Sibella is not the like quintessential vampire girl when you look at her. Like, but yeah, she turns into a freaking bat and it's awesome. But I don't know. I feel like all of the girls were inspired by their monster counterparts without it just being like Dracula in drag or something along those lines. And so character design, fantastic for the girls. Absolutely love it. Every time I watch this, I'm like, who is it that Miss Grimwood reminds me of? I looked up the voice actress today because I'm like, is it her voice that's like ringing in my head? Or is it her look? I can't place what it is about her that is so familiar to me. I don't know. She just looks like a cool teacher. I don't know. She's such a huge part of the movie. And yet I also don't think about her though a lot. Like if you brought up the movie to me and were like, oh, name some of your favorite characters or like something that they do, and I don't know that I would immediately think of her. But I mean, she's in a pink dress, so right there, I'll give her a pass for all of that. But yeah, excellent designs. I really like and again, I guess this is because they're in like a finishing type school, but I love that in a movie that is clearly geared towards a more female demographic, which typically I'm not, like, I don't need that. But in this instance, it works so well for me that I think it's great that they did that. They give them that, like, I mean, I would say that late 80s, we're starting into that, like, girl power, like pushing, like it's starting to come more in the forefront. Obviously, it started before that with like women's lib, all that kind of crap. But this is not women's lib. And this is not the girl power crap that came like 10 years later either, or like whatever they want to call feminism today, which is just like you're insane and you need a lobotomy. That movie is like the perfect blend of the finishing school girl with like a badass, where they don't take any crap from the Calloway boys, but they're also super polite. They're very well like put together. They know how to carry themselves. Like they are ladies, but they're also going to whip you at volleyball. They're not going to take your shit, but they're so like unassuming in it. It's none of it is like in your face aggressive. And to me, that is like, that should be the aim of any like girl power campaign out there. That should be the campaign. And so I think they nailed just that vibe. I love it. It does not read as like a feminist movie or anything like that. But if I had a daughter, I would absolutely be like, we're going to watch this. And I would not have a problem with my kid like trying to emulate these characters, other than maybe like don't jump off the roof thinking you're going to turn into a bat. Other than that, you know, it would be fine. But yeah, I love all of the girls, but fantastic designs. I really want to redesign that Creature from the Black Lagoon little girl though at the end, because she could be so much better.
I think all the ones at the end could have been better. I felt like they were almost all the same color palette too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Devin, your thoughts on the Ghoul School girl?
Well, Wendy had said a lot there. But back to the original point, I'm not kicked off this panel because I also love the Ghoul School girls. Okay. You said it, but I'm just going to repeat it a little bit, just a little bit. All of their designs are great. All of their voices are great. Albeit a little bit sultry, weirdly, but that is what it is. But it all fits. It's all great. I like how like vibrant they are for like being monsters, like the purples and the blues. Winnie's like weird orange like hair is interesting. Like really like it. Miss Grimwood, again, just like Shaggy and Scooby, why is she here? Like, what is her job at the school? Did I miss that? Because, like, why did Shaggy and Scooby come to teach if she's already there and not doing anything at all? Like, did I genuinely miss something, or is she just not doing anything? She's not doing anything? Okay.
Well, she's the headmistress, or like the dean.
There's like 5 students. Just you don't need to bring in 2 dogs and a guy to teach them.
Well, someone had to grow the rotten fruit, so
I guess so. Like, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of questions about the ifs, ands, and buts, whatever. But as far as the girls go, they're great. Love the designs. And are we discussing the fathers in this as well with them?
yeah, go for it.
Because the parents are all great too. I mean, they're more classic Universal monster, which I kind of like, because it's like, okay, they're there, and then like their offspring like have their own little personalities, you know. But I think I wish that we would have gotten more of these parents, because they're kind of my favorite part of the movie. Like they're doing this like whole volleyball thing, and it's a lot of like daytime stuff going on, which for me personally in Scooby-Doo, I like when it's nighttime and it's like spooky atmosphere. The volleyball game goes on for quite some time. It's a lot of daytime stuff happening. I paused it. Shaggy says, hold on, where did I write it down? He said it somewhere. It's gone. I lost it. Oh, here it is. Okay. He says, we're going to be trapped in a house full of monsters. Okay. I paused it because I was like, okay, it finally got dark. It was right when all the dads run in. It was 46 minutes into the movie. There's 46 minutes left. It was exactly dead center that it finally got to the dark, spooky stuff. And then the dads, maybe 10 minutes max, they were there. I was a bit disappointed in that, because they don't even come back towards the end or anything to be like, oh, you didn't. Oh, wait, did they come back? They're in that little rap song, right? Yeah, they're there. Okay. I lied. I take it back. They're there for a second. I wish we would have seen more of them, though, because they're great. Like, it's probably my favorite part of the movie when they're like running inside, and like the Wolfman and like Frankenstein comes in, and then like Dracula comes in, he like puts his cape around the mummy, and like they're all friends, which is kind of cool. Like, I like that they're all buddies. And like then the girls come out with these arts and crafts stuff, and like as a kid I didn't remember this at all, because I haven't seen this in like 20 years. Sorry, don't yell at me. But as soon as Winnie pulled out that juicer, I was like, oh my god, like I want that so bad. Like the Iron Maiden where you put the lemon in it, and that's great. What else they have? The Bat Robe, also great. Portable Shockman, which is funny. Love that. And the Mummy Light, also really cool. All these arts and crafts they made. Show me the arts and crafts scene in the movie where they make all this stuff, because that's really fun. I'm an artist. I like art stuff. Sue me. Sorry. Did I have anything else to say? Oh, the parents are all really supportive of the kids, and that's good to see. There's no like tension there with the parents, the kids. They're like, you girls do a great job, and we love you. Don't mess it up, Shag and Scoob, or we'll kill you.
I did like the stuff that they made when they showed the juicer. The first thing I thought was Devin could make a mini one of those.
I want that so bad. I love it.
But yeah, I thought the stuff that they made was really creative and fun. And yeah, I would have liked to have seen them actually kind of making the stuff. The volleyball thing was kind of just filler, I feel like. Like, why was it even there? It was just there to give the Callaway cadets a reason to be there. But other than that, it was just unnecessary. And yeah, I do like when it's nighttime, and especially dealing with monsters. I felt like things should have happened more at night than during the day, because I feel like monsters are going to thrive better at night, even monster children. I did think that like the howling, when Sibella was a bat, Phantasma's laugh, and Elsa calling her dad Dada, like that stuff was really annoying to me. But their voices themselves were fine. And I thought Tanis was just like the cutest thing. So, and yeah, I wasn't sure, like Miss Grimwood, Yeah, I get she's the headmistress, but I mean, there's 5 students. She could have just been like, here, girls, put on tutus and jump around a little bit. Like, they didn't really need Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy to tell them to do that. She could have just been like, do stuff, and they would have done it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like Scooby's outfits. He's got like a little yellow sweat, like a hoodie on, which is fun. He's got like a cheerleader outfit on. Did it say, was it a G for Grimwood? Or what is it? What was it? Or Ghoul
I
School?
can't
Wait,
think of it.
I don't remember what was on it.
there was a letter on it for sure. I don't know what it was, but like, I was like, okay, Scooby in some fun clothes. That's like fun to see. Can someone do a Sibella impression, please, for me? Wendy or Nikki? Wendy?
It'll have to be Wendy.
I need somebody to do it because if the audience hasn't watched this in a while, they need to know what we're talking about because her voice is the craziest out of all of them. It is.
This movie's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you.
Funny.
And that's what it sounded like, exactly like that.
Yeah, pretty much. Except when she was a bat, and it was just so annoying.
Oh yeah, it was a very screechy. I mean, but that was the appropriate sound though. I feel like even though it's an annoying sound, at least it's the appropriate sound because there's nothing worse than when the sound effect is not what belongs there and it doesn't sound right. Like to me, that's worse than when it's an annoying sound. And I don't know if I can't think of any particular instances of like an example of that, but there are just times where like the sound something makes, you're like, oh no, that's not this, like the Jaguaro.
Yeah.
The Jaguaro should not be making that sound. And so it just kind of takes you out of everything. So at least Sibella's screeching, it's what it needed to be. It is a little annoying, but at least it's like proper. She nailed it.
Yeah. Joel, what are your thoughts on Miss Grimwood?
Like Wendy, I found her familiar, but I didn't know where from. I was thinking maybe Mrs. Garrett from Facts of Life. And then I guess the voice, wasn't it like the mother from Mary Poppins or something?
Something from Mary Poppins, yeah.
Definitely Mary Poppins, yes. Yeah.
Except I've never seen Mary Poppins, so I can't really be familiar with it. But I did a school play, so I know all the songs. And then I know like the imitating that actor who's 99 now or whatever, with his British accent. Like, good day. I forget what he says. He's a chimney sweep.
That was
I get that
a
reference.
impression.
Is it midnight or something? I'm just rambling.
So the girls did appear in the OKKO Let's Be Heroes episode Monster Party. Do you think there could have been a successful spin-off of the Ghoul School girls, Wendy?
No, because just like Boo Brothers and the other Hanna-Barbera Superstars 10 movies, Ghoul School was originally meant to be a series that had nothing to do with Scooby. And that is probably why it feels so like mismatched. You know, I mean, the volleyball game is such a weird aspect of the movie. And yet to me, the volleyball game is the only reason to have Scooby and Shaggy, like to give them a reason to be at the school, because they are there to be gym teachers to help specifically to help them beat the Callaway Cadets. So without the volleyball game, how else are you going to explain? I mean, I know they're dogs, but for the sake of argument, 3 grown men coming to teach at a finishing school for young girls, because that right there is like a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's maybe not the best idea, but so no, Scott told me that Joe pitched this out the wazoo to all of the networks, Ghoul School as a series, and nobody wanted it. So it became one of the Superstars 10 movies that Joe was like, fine, put Scooby in it, make a movie instead. So I mean, it's a nice thought, but as we've talked about before with different things, sometimes when something is really, really good, when you try to like expand it, you lose what's special about it. You know, it's like, I love original Johnny Quest, and I'm like, yeah, I wish it had 6 seasons, but I'm also like, but the first season is so perfect. And even with Scooby-Doo, objectively speaking, season 1 of Where Are You is the most perfect of all of the Scoobies, and they never capture the spirit of season 1 of Where Are You in any other Scooby project after that. I'm not saying that the stuff that came after it was bad, but it wasn't as good. And I don't think that Ghoul School, that those girls and that setting, like, what are you going to have them doing? It's a finishing school. It was already a stretch to have them playing volleyball for half the movie. You know, like, it just, it didn't, I know for a fact it didn't work because none of the networks wanted it. And even rewatching it now, I mean, it's this nice little perfect bubble. It works as a one-shot deal movie. Anything beyond that, and I think that everyone would like immediately be annoyed by everyone and be like, this is just a big snooze fest. So yeah, no, I don't think it could have stood alone.
Devin, do you think there could have been a Ghoul School spinoff?
Well, okay. Well, going on the flip side of what Wendy said, just for like hypothetical, if it was never a previous pitch and then turned into a Scooby-Doo movie, could it work? I think that there's a lot of characters, so you could definitely have like different dynamic pairs. Like in an episode, you want like different characters paired off together, so like they could play off of each other in that way. There's enough like characters to go for it. But like this movie kind of just felt like 3 episodes like of a show. Like it could have been like, here's volleyball against the other school, here's parents visit day, and we made dad something for like Father's Day or whatever, and then we got like the castle monsters at the end. It's like it was kind of already like an episode just like scrammed, or a couple episodes like crammed together like weirdly, and I don't think that worked. But like I think sometimes, most of the time, at least with the older stuff, I think Scooby-Doo kind of works better as a show than a movie. So like if you were to spread this out into 3 episodes with like the plot rounded out each time, would it have felt a little bit less long? Like the volleyball scene, would that have felt shorter if it was just like a 20-minute episode? I don't know. I do think there's enough characters, like I said, to make a thing. But like if it was a spinoff, are you saying would Scooby and Shaggy be in it, or it's just the girls?
Just the girls.
I think that it could be a thing, but it would not be remembered, I don't think, too well. I think it would come, they'd maybe get like a season, and it'd be like, okay, that was one of those things that existed in the 80s, like a cartoon from the 80s that kind of just like didn't have the like lasting like sticking power, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it could be done. I don't think that it should have been done.
Joel, do you think that there could have been a spinoff with the Ghoul School girls?
Not like a full, maybe if it came out a couple years earlier and they did like a short and they mixed it with Scooby shorts, I think it could have done well. Like instead maybe with Richie Rich or something, they could have done Ghoul School, maybe another, they could have put in the Boo Brothers and just have like a rotating Scooby Boo Brothers or something, and without Boo Brothers without Scooby, but have their own little adventures in this. Would have been fun. But yeah, like would just kind of piggybacking on what Devin said, I don't think it would have been remembered except from diehard Scooby fans or diehard fans. It probably would have found an audience. Like Ghoul School has its audience. There are a lot of people who love Ghoul School who weren't around when it came out, and but overall, yeah, during that time, that year it came out, no, it wouldn't have. I can see why it got turned down.
Yeah, I don't think that it would have made a very good spinoff, but I think if they did it differently, like they would have had to have rewritten the characters differently. So maybe they were no longer in finishing school and they were doing something else, and I don't know what, but
I do. Okay, I just thought of something else too. I don't think it would work without Shaggy and Scooby and Scrappy, because, well, if the Callaway, is that the neighboring school? If they're in it, I guess. But like, they are all so polite and friendly and get along. There's no tension there. So like on an episode to episode basis, there'd be like zero tension between the girls without change, like unless they change the characters a bit, obviously. Because if they're just like nicey nice to each other the entire time, I don't think there's a lot to do plot wise necessarily, unless it's always against the rivalry school. But that kind of gets boring too. It can't be that every single episode. You know what I mean? So, just a thought.
Talk about matches, because he's the cute little green dragon with an attitude, and I love him. Devin, what are your thoughts on matches?
I don't usually like dragons. I'm not a dragon guy. I'm not like a knight guy. I'm not a dragon guy.
We made you number one.
Okay, but hear me out. I love matches. Okay. First of all, Frank Welker, obviously great. Second of all, his name matches, fantastic. His design, I think I like him better because he's all round and like squishy looking. He looks great. He's always mumbling under his breath. He's like whatever, you know. And he's adorable. He's adorable. If he talked, I don't know if I'd like him as much.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad he didn't talk. Joel, what are your thoughts on matches?
Yeah, he could be cute, I guess.
He's just saying that.
First 40 minutes of matches, I was not a fan, but he won me over. He was kind of mean to Scooby.
He was.
Yeah.
He's a dick to Scooby the first 40 minutes. He's stealing volleyballs, trying to bury him, thinking he's going to grow pumpkin volleyball or something. I don't know. Yeah, but near the end, I like when he lost his powers. I kind of felt that's where I kind of fell on his side. I'm like, okay. Because he was kind of invulnerable and just like all powerful, and then you realized he was a vulnerable little dragon and needed help, and he wasn't as. I think he learned a lesson in this episode that he needs other people.
Very good for the dragon to learn a lesson. Wendy, your thoughts on matches?
Yeah, he's just so cute. They really did a nice job with his design to give him that, like, I mean, he's kind of like a stand-in for Scrappy, like old school Scrappy, which I think is why, for me, Matches works, because like everything that Joel said is true, and Matches is kind of a dick. But when Matches is with Scrappy, I feel like there's like a nice balance there, because Scrappy doesn't even give Matches the opportunity to like be nasty to him. He's just like, hey, how you doing, Matches? I'm Scrappy-Doo, and it's just like he just pals up with Matches immediately, and Matches is like, what? But he goes along with it. So I don't know how likable Matches would have been without Scrappy there to buffer him and sort of make him more of like a, for lack of a better way of putting it, a more human character. But I don't know, it's a cute shtick where he like turns red and he can breathe fire and stuff, and I do enjoy that. I like the scene where he, blows a puff of hot air at the girls to like dry them off after they've been running and stuff or swimming. He's a fun little side character that actually serves a purpose in the movie. It's not like he has a huge purpose, but it's enough of one that I'm like, okay, I can see why they put him in there. And I don't know. I was gonna for a second. I was like, could Scrappy have served the purpose of Matches in this film? But I don't think he could have. I think you actually needed like a separate character to do the things that Matches was doing to make the plot work. I don't know why, because typically I'm not a fan of any character that just makes noise and doesn't say anything. I love the sounds that Matches makes. I don't know why. It's weird to me that I feel that way, because typically I would hate that stuff. I love every sound that Matches makes. I love it. He's just an adorable little thing. Sometimes Miss Grimwood's a little mean to him, I find. And I don't know that that was necessary, but I guess he is supposed to be a dog. It's a ghoul school though, but he's their dog, really, if it comes down to brass tacks. But I'm surprised that no one has suggested, like, could there have been a Matches spinoff? I mean, I would answer unequivocally no. But at the same time, I could kind of ship a Scrappy Matches spinoff series. I could see it. Devin, don't even.
No, listen. While
Don't
you were
even
saying
want to
this,
get demoted.
no. Number one. While you were saying that, before you even said that, I was thinking, I was like, if this movie was made today, they'd be like, let's throw 20 Matches in here, and he'll be like our minions. That's like, he's the cute little adorable thing. They'd be like, we're selling plushies of Matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that I don't think would be good.
I mean, I'd take a plush Matches, but
Sure.
yeah, no, it wouldn't be good. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I also love that Sibella makes him a little robe.
Yeah, that was
very nice.
really cute.
That
I
was very
just
nice.
wish they would have shown him in the robe.
Yes.
Yes.
Because Dracula as a bat in his robe was just great. And they
Yeah.
should have put Matches in the robe.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
I love Matches. I think he's great, but I love dragons. And he's supposed to not be nice because he's a dragon. Like, he breathes fire. That's what dragons do. They don't like to be messed with, and they don't like stupid people. So they breathe fire. It's their job. He did his job. And he was cute. All right, we'll move on. The Calloway Cadets, what are your thoughts on them? That was Colonel Calloway, Miguel, Tug, Jamal, Baxter, and Grunt. Joel?
I feel like they could have been cut out, but at the same time, for what little time we had kind of with them, even though the volleyball game was like way too long, they were all kind of had their individual personalities. I kind of still remember them after watching the thing. So they did, like, they're all, yeah, very fully realized they were unique. They just annoyed the piss out of me. But yeah.
Wendy, your thoughts on the Calloway Cadets?
They were really annoying. When I rewatched it, I wasn't expecting to be quite that annoyed with them. I think part of it, though, was that I'm pretty sure that the one kid is being voiced by the kid that did Red Herring in Pup Scooby, Scott Menville. Is that it?
Yeah.
So every time I looked away from the screen, my brain put Red Herring in the scene, and that was weird. So I kind of wish that he'd have maybe done something different with the voice for one or the other, because it's the same voice. It is Red Herring's voice to me. My biggest problem with this whole movie is a thing with the Calloway Cadets. Why is Jamal's shirt too short?
Fashion.
And Baxter looked like he had his shorts hiked up so far. Like,
Man, yeah,
the volleyball outfits were a little weird.
I had to back it up. I'm like, okay, did I miss a scene where he fell in a hole and ripped the bottom of his shirt off? Did Matches burn it off? Because it also looks like it's jagged.
I did the same thing. I was like, I missed something. He
exactly.
obviously got into some type of a tussle, and I just missed it. And
but no, it's just he made that choice, and I'm like, but it's a cadet school. Spit shine your shoes, stand up straight. Everything has got to be exactly that, and yet Colonel Calloway is walking past this grown ass kid with his shirt, his stomach is fully out. And I'm like, in what universe is that? No, there's no way. What was the reason for that? I don't know. And it plagued me. It's still plaguing me. Why was Jamal's shirt like that? And it was the whole time. That's all I could think about. And it bothers me, and I don't like it. And I just want to redress him or something, because why? Don't do that.
Volleyball
It's weird.
outfits would have been unacceptable for a military school, because
Absolutely.
even those outfits would have had to have been to a certain standard.
Yeah, and they're all like baggy and chunky and just not at all. It was very a weird design choice by the designers. I don't quite understand it. And given how well they designed the girls and their outfits, I mean, it's clearly a movie from the 80s, just looking at how they're dressed, you know, and like the design of their actual like outfits and stuff. And then you get to the cadets and you're just like, where, like, wow, were you an afterthought for this movie? Like, really? We didn't really consider a whole lot about this. Yeah, the Colonel's okay, but I mean, the one thing I appreciated about the Colonel is that even though he didn't want the fudge, although I don't like his reasoning for it, because eat the damn brownie, it's fine. But I did appreciate that because Miss Grimwood insisted, he was going to eat it. And I'm like, that is polite. And I would expect that out of the Colonel. So good job for that. But yeah, Jamal, go to Walmart, buy a shirt that fits, please.
Devin, your thoughts on the Callaway Cadets?
I had to write down hashtag WWJSLT. Why was Jamal's shirt like that? Just so I can, just, you know, for future reference. Why was Jamal's shirt like that? The cadets, they reminded me of, like, it fit in with like movies of the time, 80s, 90s movies with like Goonies, Sandlot, like a bunch of young boys running around, whatever. That being said, I kind of hated every single time they were on screen, and I wish that they weren't in this movie at all, because like it just felt like a different movie. Like none of their stuff was spooky or scary, or like I liked that they had like little gadgets and stuff and the little like telescopes and all that kind of stuff. And like he had like the trumpet on the like thing that they gave to the Colonel as a Christmas or a birthday gift or whatever. I was like, that's fun. But besides that, it felt like they should be just in like a different movie away from here and have nothing to do with this. Maybe they're in it for like 5 minutes. That's too long. They're in it for a minute and a half for this volleyball scene, and then we can get rid of them. And I'd be okay with that. Never seen them again.
I did kind of think that they were unnecessary for the movie, but again, like they saved them in the end, and so they had to play somewhat of a role. But still, there's so much about this movie that I just felt was weird and out of place. And
yeah. The last thing on the cadets, they clearly know the Grimwood girls or whatever. And they do this every year, apparently, this volleyball match. Why are they so surprised that the girls are like kind of weird? Like, don't they know them? They're right next door. They probably see them all the time. Like, they're like, these girls are so kooky. And it's like, you should know that by now. Why is everyone so surprised?
yeah, but maybe, well, I guess it's weird because like they had a new group of students at the end, right?
Sure.
But the girls were saying that they played volleyball against the cadets every year and always lost, and they wanted to win. Mm-hmm. So how long have they been at that school?
Yeah.
And quick question on the 3 new girls at the end. Are they there just because they're new students, or because Shaggy and Scooby did such a good job that they're like, we need to go to the school because these are great teachers?
I think it's just supposed to be the end of the school year.
Okay.
Or the start of the new school year or something.
This movie didn't know what was going on.
It suffered from a timeline flaw.
It's so...
You know, I would say that this movie suffers from the Twilight effect. I will fight anyone. The Twilight books are excellent, except for Eclipse. Excellent book, Twilight. The movie, horrible.
You're wrong.
Horrible, though, not just because of Kristen Stewart's acting. Horrible because they have had to condense the timeline to such a degree that nothing is believable. In the book, when you're reading it, you can feel the sense of time. The time that Bella sees Edward, to Edward and Bella meeting, to Edward and Bella becoming something. In the book, there is like time. There is no time in the movie. It's just like, wow, I see him. Oh my God, I want him. And then it's weird because you're like, no, and he's weird and she's weird and everything's weird. And it's suffering because of that condensed timeline. Ghoul School, how much time is going by, because it feels like 2 days are going by. That's it.
Yeah, is it a full year?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, what is the actual time here? The guys get there. They're supposed to be gym teachers. They're specifically to help them win this volleyball thing. They train them for less than 1 day before the volleyball game happens. And I'm like, what?
Mhm.
Like, did I miss the time jump? Like, is it actually more than just like 6 or 7 hours that go by? And the whole thing is like that because, yeah, again, then they have a Halloween party. And then Revolta takes the girls like the very next day. And then it's like, oh, cool, here's the new hires, here's the new girls. And you're like, you know, in less than a week, all of these things happen. So, like, I feel like the movie very much suffers from that condensing of the timeline. We don't even know what the timeline actually is. They don't even make it clear at any point how much time has actually passed. So I think that's the main issue with the movie is the timeline. It just throws everything off.
Yeah, I agree. Very weird. Last of the characters, Revolta and the Grim Creeper. The Grim Creeper, not to be confused with the Creeper from Jeepers. It's the Creeper who wears a suit. Wendy, what are your thoughts on them?
Okay. This is time for my redemption arc. Because it has been years now that you people, you bunch of perverts, thought that when I mentioned how cute the Creeper was and how much I would be fine with him creeping around in my garden, and every last one of you was like, oh my God, when you want the creeper, creepy old man in your garden? Meh, meh, meh. No, 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 no. I meant the Grim Creeper, because he is an adorable plant monster with long arms. He's a dumbass, but he's also kind of loyal and smart, and just, he's not the Creeper, guys, the Grim Creeper.
Can I, in my notes, I'm not joking, in my notes, the first note I have on Revolta and the Grim Creeper are, and I quote, Wendy wants to bang the Creeper, so he must be kind of cool?
Wow! Wow!
Sorry.
Okay, well, I know who's not getting my vote for a Scoob Academy Award next year.
I'm sorry. That's,
no,
I mean,
you're
listen,
not.
Thank you for reminding me. It's been a couple of years and I couldn't remember, but I was like, I thought you said something about that.
Just wanted a cool plant in my garden, Devin. That's all I wanted. A cool plant in the garden that could talk to me.
Hey, I understand now.
And plant other plants. Because the Grim Creeper does stuff. He's like a little henchman. He's useful. He could go till the soil and plant seeds and cut flowers.
I could see how he would be beneficial to you.
He would be. And he's cute. AF.
He is. He is.
Not the big creeper. Okay? It's not the big creeper. It's the little creepy creeper creeping around.
Big creeper? He's got a suit on. He must have a job.
Not necessarily. Wow. Okay.
I'm kidding.
Anyway. So yes, Grim Creeper. Love him. Revolta, voiced by Canadian beauty Ruta Lee. Kind of wish that they would have based the metrics of Revolta's face on Ruta Lee. You still could have made her creepy looking, but she's too ugly for Ruta's voice. It's my only criticism of her because Ruta Lee is beautiful and I love how she voiced that character. She has that crazy, like, vibrating laugh that I think is fantastic, and she does it like spot on. And I don't know that anyone could look at Revolta and think of Ruta Lee, who is like Hollywood starlet through and through. So I kind of wish that they had made Revolta a little less revolting in her facial features. I think like the extra arms kind of make it creepy enough because they also come out of like they're weirdly high. They're coming like out of here, and that is revolting. I feel like we did not get enough backstory as to why she is so angry at the girls' dads, that she is like on this revenge tour
Is that what was
of trying to brainwash them. Yeah, she was mad at the dads. There's like one line in the whole movie where I want to get revenge on your fathers or something.
I was
And I'm
lost.
like, okay, but like for what?
Okay.
I feel like that was kind of important for us to know.
We could have got a flashback or something with the dads.
Absolutely. There should have been something. There should have been something, because that just kind of got thrown in there. And at some point they're in the castle and you're just like, wait a minute, why is this happening? I don't actually know. So I thought that she and the Grim Creeper were really great characters. The designs, other than her face, were pretty great. But what is her life's purpose? Because we did not get enough information to make what she's doing believable. And that bothered me. So yeah. Maybe we need another movie where it goes back and it has the Grim Creeper as like a tiny creeper in her garden, and she befriends it and then enslaves it, and we see what exactly, I mean, what could they have done? Count Dracula didn't want to date her? Is that what happened? Did they snub her for the monster race? She didn't get to go to the race. Like, what is it that made her want to take revenge so bad that she kidnapped a bunch of teenage girls?
What because she's like, is she supposed to be like a spider? Because there's like a whole web thing going on. She's got like the arms.
I think so.
Is she like a spider? Yeah. I mean, she's like a spider. You brought up Dracula. He's a bat. They do have these spider bats that are flying around. Maybe an
okay, Devin.
What?
This is not After Dark panel yet. Okay.
He does make a good point.
I'm just saying, maybe there was something going on there.
Don't encourage him.
I didn't say anything explicitly. They could have created them in like a lab together or something with us.
Oh yeah, that's called Professor Utonium, and like, make us spider bats.
But I'm just saying, to your point, it's not impossible that they had a past.
Okay, I'll go along with that.
Yeah, I kind of like that. We'll go with that. That was their reason. Devin, what are your thoughts on Revolta and the Grim Creeper?
I do like her arms, how they come out of her weird like armpits, and all the little bumps on like her arms. Are there like liver spots or like warts or something? I'm not exactly sure. Those are fun. I do think the Creeper's design is great. I'm just kidding, Wendy. And he would make a great plushie also. If that came out today, he would be the Minions again. They, as a pair, they're a little bit incompetent. They're like, oh, that mummy, get back to mopping or whatever. And it's like clearly Scooby, and it's like way taller than that little baby. And it's like, they're a bit incompetent as far as evil villains go. I feel like I wish that the volleyball stuff was kind of just cut out, and maybe the girls like heard about the Mystery Inc. and they were like, oh, we're having this problem with Revolta or whatever, and they call them to come solve it or something, whatever. Cut the volleyball stuff out. Give me more of their castle shenanigans is what I think would have been probably better.
Joel, your thoughts on Revolta and the Grim Creeper?
You're all going to wish I was never on this panel. With Revolta, her design kind of reminded me of something from 13 Ghosts, because she was creepy.
Okay.
And that 13 Ghosts had creepy and incompetent ghosts, and she's very incompetent. She's kind of like Gargamel, where she just, like, we don't get the backstory. She's just always plotting against these kids.
It could have been a TV show.
Yeah. And then she has all these computer banks in her lair, and I'm like, what the hell does she need those for? At least I saw computer banks as they're scrolling past, and she's explaining her exposition over and over and over again about how she's gonna get revenge. Um, I'm anti-pesticide use, but I did not find the Grim Creeper cute, and I just wanted to dump a vat of pesticide on him and just be done with him.
Joel!
I did not like that thing. But as Devin said, he was a minion, and I don't like the minions, so maybe that's why. But I like what Ghostbusters did with the Ghostbuster Stay Puft things, the new Ghostbusters, which ripped off the minions. That worked for me, but the minions themselves do not work for me. So I think I don't like that one-eyed look ever. So maybe if he had two eyes, I'd find him cute, but he looked like just a Captain Caveman reject, kind of like, just, I don't know.
He kind of
He's
looks
just
like a big
shaggy.
watermelon.
Watermelon, yeah, he was just, I don't know. I didn't like it. It bothered me. I like plants. I didn't like that plant. Sorry.
I didn't like him very much either.
Guys!
I mean,
Hey,
of
what's the
the
matter
two
with you?
creepers,
Don't be
I
mad
like
at-
him
I said I liked
more.
I said I liked him.
But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of thought he was silly. I don't know that I'd want him in my garden either. Like,
And he's Owl and Winnie the Pooh!
Interesting.
Guys! Come
I-
on.
I just think that all the characters, the side characters, weren't fleshed out enough. I think that if they had more screen time, they would have had more to like do, because they kind of like felt like they came out of nowhere a little bit, and then it was over. I wish that they were in it longer.
I think because it felt like it was three different stories, that it was hard to really like look at the characters and find them interesting. Because yeah, like they didn't tell you why Revolta had a problem. So like Devin said, a flashback scene would have been perfect. And then, you would have seen what happened. And they could have completely done away with the Callaway cadets and not done the volleyball scene, and instead like fleshed out the whole issue with Revolta and just went that way. And then it would have made more sense to have the dads in it more. So, yeah. Yeah.
What would their reasoning, though, have been for Scooby and Shaggy to be at the school, though? See, because that, to me, that's the whole reason for the volleyball thing, is that the only, like, acceptable way to have a reason for them to be there was, like, gym teachers.
Well, I think if
So
they were
with-
going to do the intro the way they did it, then they could have, like, lightning could have struck the van and caused it to have a flat tire, and it could have happened right in front of the school, and then they would go into the school to, try to get help, and now
And just
they're,
like
sucked into
just
this.
like so that, but would they still be serving the same purpose as like, oh, we kind of need a teacher, or would they just like be there visiting?
I think they would just be there because they broke down and it was the closest place to go. And like maybe the sign was split in half so they wouldn't have seen that it said school for ghouls. Maybe it would have just said school for and had a G, so they would have assumed girls. And then they went into it to get help, and then somehow they like got sucked into the mystery. And
What if, okay, they're not teachers. It opens up with a opening scene, and it's Revolta and the little Grim Creeper, and they're kidnapping all the dads and bringing them back to the castle. So all the girls are stuck at school, and they're like, we need help getting our dads back. And then they open the phone book or something, and Scooby, and they're like, let's call Mystery Inc. And they call him there, and then the whole thing is them trying to get the dads back in the castle with the little girls' help. And then the dads are all like, wow, you girls are so good at this. We've taught you well.
I feel like that would have been too Boo Brothers-ish,
Yeah, a little
because
bit.
they called the Boo Brothers, and I don't know that would have worked
Okay,
for
they
the
don't
next
call them.
movie.
The dads get kidnapped during the dad visit day by Revolta in the middle of the movie. And then the girls got to save them or something. So Scooby and Shaggy are already there for the volleyball match.
We got to cut this volleyball thing out of this movie.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so bad.
It's a
I
little
hate it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, they needed a new reason for being there, but that makes sense that they would stay long enough to like the girls, meet the dads, and care enough to go do something.
I will say, I've been bagging on a little bit and asking a lot of questions because they don't explain it in the movie. But to be fair, Shaggy is a track star or a track man and the swingingest gymnast in school. So he does have a history of sports, apparently, that we haven't seen. And this is it. Even though they don't really show much, this is him living his dream, I guess.
I still think it was weird that they were gym teachers.
Yeah.
It was just such a weird way to start the movie, too. I don't know.
I'm curious. I wrote out like a little timeline where to make the movie work as it is, but just reorder the scenes and tell me if you think it would work better. So the guys arrive as new teachers. The girls, they want to win the volleyball thing. So it's like, okay, we need some coaching. I can see that. So the guys arrive as the new teachers. They meet the girls. All of that stays the same. And they start the training, just like they do in this one. Then we see Revolta, and she's watching the girls. But then instead of jumping right into the volleyball game, because like that was the continuity issue for me, is I'm like, you've only been there less than a day. You can't be doing this yet. Instead of jumping to the volleyball game, instead, they've had time to train with the girls, and we go straight to the Halloween party where they meet the dads. And maybe here, because it does show Revolta and the Grim Creeper watching the party at one point, I'm pretty sure. Here, if we were going to add anything, we add even just a line of dialogue from Revolta revealing what her problem is with the dads. That would be the time for that. So they have the party, Scooby and Shaggy meet the dads. Then we go straight into the Revolta kidnapping plot. So they go right back to training because they haven't done the volleyball game yet. They go through the swamp. Revolta kidnaps them. Movie plays out the same way. They rescue the girls. They defeat Revolta. Then we end with the volleyball game. They win the trophy. The trophy goes in the case. And it's over. I don't even though there's a part of me that thinks that the ending is really cute, because I'm not going to lie, when they go and they turn around and Scrappy's like, the girls are waving goodbye and they're like all standing there like that, like it makes me cry. I'm sick in the head. I don't know what my problem is. I have this issue with movies. Makes me cry, makes me very emotional. At the same time though, I'm like, that is so rude that they just ran out. They didn't say anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool, you're gone, bye. And I'm just like, no, Scooby and Shaggy and Scrappy would not do that. It's rude. And that was very jarring to me. So I don't need that ending at all. I think they should have ended with the volleyball game. Then I actually think that because we had waited until the end for it, the length of it could be excused. Because now we're anticipating, I mean, there's only like 5 minutes left in the show. Are they going to win the trophy? And I think that we wouldn't have even had to cut any of it because there would have been added anticipation for them to win because we're at the end of the film and all of this stuff has happened. You know, girls have been kidnapped. It's very traumatic, whatever. They've gone through all this stuff. Then you wouldn't even necessarily need the cadets to be involved in the movie except for the volleyball game. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't even have to necessarily take part in the rescue or any of that. I mean, I think it would be fine to leave it. Because again, this would just be about reordering, like restructure the movie that you have to make it make more sense and to make it more palatable when you're watching it. So I just think like taking that volleyball out from the beginning, dump it at the end, and I think it would have made the whole thing way more cohesive. And it would have made a lot more sense to like what was happening in the film.
I think that would have made more sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, you could keep the the cadets in there and like have them have like a rivalry throughout the movie or whatever, and then they're like, even though we don't really like the weird neighbors, we got to go rescue them or something. They rescue them, and then like at the volleyball match they like have fun and get along, and it's like a fun thing, and it's like it's not about winning, it's about friendship or whatever, you know. And then like the dads could be there watching because it's the end of the movie, and then they win it and they're like, thanks Scoob and Shag, you taught our daughter so well and you got the trophy, and like then they could still drive away or whatever and wave goodbye at the end, but they should say goodbye first.
Yes.
And I think that would have definitely worked better.
Along with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it might have made it not feel so long too, because the way that it was, it just didn't feel like it made sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your general thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School? Devin?
I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff in it. Like the character designs are great and the voices are great and some of the like set stuff is good. And I like certain elements, but as we've been discussing for this entire last part here, it's a mess. It's a mess. And I think they should have taken a bit more time on it, like fleshing out the story. And it does it does show that like it was a different idea first and they were like, let's throw the Scooby name on it and just kind of chuck them in there, because like maybe those were a couple episodes they had planned out and then they were like, let's just piece it all together into one thing, you know. Like it just kind of feels like a mess. And I enjoy it, but I don't think it's as cohesive as like Boo Brothers is. Like Boo Brothers feels like a fun little mystery thing, they're finding the clues, it's a good time, and I like that, and it's all spooky nighttime setting fun stuff, and this just feels too disjointed to feel like on that level for me.
Yeah. Joel, your general thoughts?
I agree, it's a mess, but also at the same time, I can't help but cheer for it. Like everything kind of, you see what they're doing, where it kind of was going, and you want it to work, but I didn't know if it's because I was just a middle-aged man watching it that didn't work for me or whatnot, but I wanted to like it. I'd give it like a 3.5 out of 10.
Wendy, your general thoughts?
Oh, guys.
Wendy's
Okay.
like never gonna come on a panel.
Okay,
She's so
Wendy.
disappointed in us.
Get rid of how cool you think the girls are. Get rid of that thought. Is the movie good? And it's okay if you think it is, but I'm just wondering.
What is weirdly redeeming about it, given all of its obvious flaws, is that I have probably watched this movie probably even more than Boo Brothers in my life. Not really sure why, but I'm pretty sure I have seen it the most of any of the Scooby movies. And I never really pick up on the flaws until I stop to think about what's going on.
Yeah.
And after I'm done watching it, like even I listened to it about a week ago and I was working and I had it playing in the background. And then I rewatched it today so that I could like take some like actual notes after Nikki sent us topics. Even today, after it was done and I'd gotten through it and I'm like, yeah, there's this issue, there's no continuity. There's all of these issues. This is how it could totally be better. It feels very long. Once it was over, though, literally every single one of those thoughts was gone from my brain. And my brain is like, I love this movie so much. So it's definitely, I mean, it's a Scooby cartoon. It is made for children who are not thinking in analytical terms like we are for this. And I think that kind of is the beauty of a lot of Hanna-Barbera properties, which is, no, they're not perfect, but there is something so endearing about them that it tricks your brain into thinking that it's really like top-notch stuff. Yeah. And I would argue that makes it top-notch stuff, because there are so many movies and shows that are trying to be something really like highfalutin, and it just comes across as like somebody trying to like smear something in your face, and you're like, it's very off-putting. So It's a very good movie if you are someone who likes to have something playing while you do something, while you're working. Like, it's a very good company movie, I think. If I was home alone and I wanted something playing in the background, I don't want to have to put on a new episode of Scooby every 22 minutes or whatever it is, every half hour. I can put on Boo Brothers or Ghoul School for like, you know, an hour and a half, and it just plays. And your brain is not thinking about what's missing or what's not quite right. And that's what I love about it. So I would still give this movie, clearly, technically speaking, I don't think I would go as low as a 3.5. I would probably give it a 6. But to me, this is like a solid 8 out of 10 for me. Because again, as soon as it's over, I forget all of the things that were wrong with it because so much was so right. And the things that they did right, they did it to perfection, and it kind of makes up for the rest of it. So I definitely would recommend this movie to people. I will say that I don't think a lot of people would share my thoughts about it. So I'm not sure that a lot of people would be able to enjoy it the way that I do. And I acknowledge that wholeheartedly. I get that. But for me, what saves the movie is how it looks. I cannot get over the fact that this to me is like the most perfect visual Scooby thing that exists. Watching it again today, and I'm just like, look at those background trees. Look at the foreground trees where they're adding all of this dimension, where they've got a cell in the middle of the frame and they've got the animation happening around it. Like where they're walking, you know, through the swamp and there's like a giant tree right in the middle of the frame. It's beautiful. There's so much detail in those backgrounds and all of like the elements that are making up everything that's not the characters. I don't know how you can like not watch this and just be like a little kid, no matter what age you are. And like, who even cares what's going on? The plot at that point becomes irrelevant. The Ghoul School, Revolta's Castle. I mean, my goodness, like just visually so stunning. And that's why I'm so disappointed with the logo, because everything else was like, perfection. And then they kind of just like dialed it in with that. So it looks so great that I cannot criticize it. I really can't. I can see the flaws, but the flaws to me are irrelevant. The characters are so good that I can even forgive like the deviation of Shaggy and Scooby and even Scrappy from what they normally are, because it's its own thing. It really is. It fits within the Scooby canon for me, the classic Scooby, but it's also its own thing. And for that reason, like I love it. And I could sit down and watch that movie again tonight and not get bored with it, which I can't say about a lot of films. So yeah, I don't know. I would give it like an 8 out of 10 easily, but definitely watch it and maybe don't even like pay attention to the plot, but just like look at it. It's so rich and there's so much detail. A lot of even Scooby sometimes, I mean, obviously we know background art in classic Scooby's amazing anyway, but there's a lot of cartoons where they kind of like, it's just like some colorful, like nebulous background. It's very indistinct. There's no like details in it. And even because I was watching a little bit of Scooby-Doo show today, when you get like a close up on somebody and you look at the background where you can't see a lot of it, but when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, there's not like a lot of detail in that. It's like one of those paintings where if you get back far enough away from it, it looks amazing. And then you get up close and you're like, it's not what I thought it was. It's just like a big blob. Ghoul School, there are no big blobs. Everything is deliberate. Everything is detailed. And I can't believe that they put that much effort and time and money into making it like that, it's beautiful. That's the bottom line. It's a beautiful movie. It's got a good message. It's got some great characters. Yeah, I think I've just worked it up to like a 9 out of 10 in my brain.
I do agree that the background art, the character designs, they're really good. I can't get past the disjointed storyline. I watched it last night and I watched it again today. And I had a very hard time watching it both times. And I got bored watching it because the story didn't make sense. The one thing that I thought was funny was when Miss Grimwood had legs, the spider come and like build the net. I thought that was funny. And then he was like refusing to build the net, and she's like, I'll give you 6 extra flies. And he's like, nope. And she's like, I'll give you 12. And he's like, okay. It was kind of like a nod to Scooby Snacks, but I was also kind of disappointed that there was not a Scooby snack at all in this. It was like nasty, gross food, fungus, brownies, and all the food was rotten, and the weird pizza. And yeah, it was I mean, we definitely, if we ever get to the movies and talking about food of the movies, we won't be trying that stuff, like that's for sure. But yeah, I had a hard time getting past the actual like movie itself, the plot of it. There was too much going on for me, and I just couldn't stay engaged with it.
Yeah. I just want to say too, like, though it is not that for me, Wendy, I'm glad that the movie is that for you, because like there's a million movies that I love that are like, especially bad horror movies, that are clearly like 1-star movies, but I'm like 10 out of 10. They're amazing. Like the villain design, you know, whatever it is, or like the set pieces, or like whatever, like the plots are usually bad. They usually don't make sense. It's usually a bunch of garbage, but I'm like, this is great, 10 out of 10. I love it. And it's clearly a terrible movie. So I respect Ghoul School more now that you said that, because it's not that for me, but it's that for you. So I respect that's why you love it, because it's just like something about it is like, this is perfect. Even if it's kind of bad, it's perfect. So
how would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Me?
Yeah.
Personally? Okay, well, here's the thing. I rated it on Letterboxd. I have a problem with rating nothing, like giving something less than 5 stars. I'm like, I can't do it. I did give this a 4 because I didn't love it, but a 4 out of 5 is pretty good. I will say that's pretty good. But realistically, I would give it like a 3.5 out of 5. But like, I enjoy it. I just like stuff. I just like watching stuff. I like movies. I like cartoons. Even if they're bad, they're still kind of good, because it's like, hey, someone made this, and that's impressive. And like when he was talking about the cell animation and the backgrounds and the art, and like someone put thought into the character designs. There was some thought lacking in other aspects, like the story and stuff. And like, maybe we should cut this volleyball scene shorter. But like the other stuff can make up for that. And there was a lot of funny goofs and gags. And so I can respect the movie for that. Even if it's not my favorite Scooby movie, I still enjoyed it enough.
If we're rating it out of 5, I would give it a 2.5, because I think that character design and the background design was really good, but the story was really lacking and it was boring. So, yeah. What is the
Sorry, Joe.
What is the appeal of this movie, Joel?
I think you're asking the wrong person again. Winnie summed it up. I think it's a good, like the artwork, I guess, the characters, the girls. A lot of good stuff going on in it. Just doesn't always follow through. But I think, you know, if you're a kid and you're a girl, most likely you'd like it. So I think it appeals to that demographic. The voice cast, great. Even though some of the voices were questionable to me. I don't know. Not a big fan of this movie, so I don't have personal appeal to it, but I'm glad people do like it. And it does have a strong audience who loves it, who mostly tend to be girls. So, yeah.
Wendy, the appeal of this movie?
Well, I mean, when you come right down to it, the main appeal is that it's Scooby. And we have seen now with even something like Velma that didn't even have Scooby in it. You slap Scooby on something, someone's going to watch it or someone's going to buy it. So it's a Scooby movie. Definitely did not start out that way. And that is quite obvious in how disjointed it is, because it does feel very thrown together and like it's forced. But at the end of the day, it is a Scooby-Doo movie and people will watch Scooby. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, except with Velma, but we're not going to talk about that. I also think that the time period for this, what was this, like 88 that they did this one? So this is like the height of, well, I'm gonna say it is. This is like the height of like Monster Kid revival. 1964 was like the year of the monster. Late 80s, you've got Elvira on TV. The monsters are sort of like making a bit of a comeback, albeit it's not the same way that it was in the 60s. But we're starting to get that trend towards spooky and the girly aspect of it. Again, I think driven largely by Elvira, to be honest. I don't think we can diminish her influence on the era and the genre. She was a huge influence on that, both aesthetically and in every other way, because she was bringing back all of these terrible B horror movies and introducing it to a whole new group of people that have, I mean, it's the 80s. Standards are lower for a lot of things. So, you know, you make it a little campy, you make it a little schlocky, and people loved it. And add to that, it's colorful. That's the other thing that I really love about Ghoul School as opposed to Boo Brothers or any of the other films, is that it's very colorful, but not in a way that doesn't make sense for what it is. So just the fact that they took classic monsters and redesigned them as cute 80s girls with the appropriate color palette and everything, there is appeal there. And I can imagine that maybe not today, but like my heart belongs to that era in some aspects. So of course, at like, 38 years old, I still love that. I can see it being reasonably popular back then. I don't really know exactly how well it did, but I think that it was a product of its time, designed for people of that time. And it did what it needed to do. Is it the best movie ever? No. Are there better ones? Probably. But it marks an interesting point in time where a lot of things were happening. And again, I just love that it has that female slant without it being pushy into something gross. Ghoul School reminds me of the 2016 all-girl Ghostbusters movie, which typically I hate gender bending stuff. That movie's fantastic. That is a 10 out of 10 movie. I would watch that movie any day of the week. I personally would watch the all-girl one over the original anytime. I think the original's a little boring. It's good, but I have no desire to like rewatch it. I don't really find it funny. The one from a few years ago, laughed my face off in the theater. Went to see it in the theater. I don't go to the theater to watch movies. Went to see it with my best friend. We both loved it. It was fantastic. Ghoul School has that same kind of like vibe to me, where it's funny, but they're playing it straight. And that's a really big thing for me with movies and shows. It can be funny, but as long as you're playing it straight, it works. And so Ghoul School is that for me. I think the main appeal is that it's just simply, it's Scooby-Doo. But beyond that, it has that 80s girly monster Elvira shtick to it. for somebody like me, like that it's everything that I want in a film.
Devin, what do you think the appeal of this movie is?
Original Ghostbusters rocks. Just gotta throw that out there. Great imagery, fantastic monster designs, scrappy. I mean, no, listen. I'm a sucker for Universal I mean, like, I got Creature from Black Lagoon, we got Frankenstein, Wolfman. Like, I love the Universal monsters. They're great. So, like, obviously that's right there. That's a buy-in. If they were like original monsters, would I like it as much? I don't know. That might drop a few points depending on if the monsters were really cool that they came up with. It depends. But Universal monsters, I do think, like, helps sell it a little bit more because it's like they're established characters already. So I think, like, going into it being like, oh, I know what Scooby-Doo is and I know what the monsters are. So you go into that and you're like, that's two things people can relate with. So I think that's good. And like Wendy said, like, Elvira, I can agree that she does have very Elvira-like things. She's kind of like the star of the ghouls for some reason. She's the one that gets the most, like, screen time and is kind of, like, pushed to the center. So maybe you're right there. Maybe she did have some inspiration with it. But yeah, again, not necessarily a movie for me, but I can totally understand why, like Wendy would, like, love this. So yeah. If you haven't seen it ever, why are you listening to this? Go watch the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Yeah,
just
that's
spoiled
scrappy.
like most of the movie, so if you haven't seen it, then we're
Spoiler.
not really sorry that we spoiled it because we've all watched it. So,
Yeah.
and Wendy's invasion of Scrappy will need to be cut.
You wouldn't dare. Come on.
Final thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. Wendy?
Even though Scrappy's a little bit different and I feel like underutilized in this film, I love how, like, calm and cool and collected he is. And my favorite line from the movie is they're trapped in the well with this crazy looking monster. And Shaggy's like, this is no time to play ball, Scrappy, or something. It says something like that. It's no time to play. And Scrappy's like, I'm just hoping he'll play ball with me, Shaggy. And just he says it so, like, smooth and matter of factly that I don't know. I love that. It's my favorite line of the whole movie. And he gets them out of the well because it's Scrappy saving the day, because that's what Scrappy does. No matter what anybody says, that's what Scrappy does. I also, one thing that I do think is quite clever when they can work it into a movie or a show, I love when they find a way of working the title into it. And so right at the start, when they meet the girls and Elsa slaps Shaggy on the back and she's like, welcome to Ghoul School. Working the title into the movie, that's a 10 out of 10 move. I don't know why, but I just feel like that's a very clever and fun little nod whenever they do that kind of stuff. Scrappy's rap,
Amazing.
I mean, it was better than Revolta's rhyme, because at some point she uses, like, the same word to rhyme with itself. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. That's no, don't do that. I can appreciate Scrappy's rap because it's not always easy to come up with rhymes and have it make sense. And, like, it kind of does, except for the line, Shaggy and my Uncle Scoob are always in a junky groove.
Love it. Best line of the whole thing.
No,
Incredible.
no, I can't with that one. And the moonwalk, I mean, guys, this is an animated thing. That moonwalk should have been, like, Michael Jackson worthy. And it was so awkward because it looked like poor Scooby had something shoved up his bum that went, like, all the way up his spine to hold him, like, straight. Like, he looked so uncomfortable, and there was nothing smooth about that moonwalk. My dad can moonwalk better than that, and he does that sometimes because I get a kick out of it. My dad can do it better. There was no excuse for that. It was very awkward. Wish they had done it better. Final thought, I would be over the moon for Ghoul School toys. line of action figures, Grim Creeper, Revolta, the Spider Bats, Sibella, all the girls, plus Bat Sibella, who is like gorgeous. I love her as a bat too. The monster dads, fine. The cadets, do the whole thing. What happened to the days of making like action figures for shows and doing all the characters? We need to bring that back, but not for the collector's market who's like, oh, you want 5 faces for this? Cool, $75. No, take that and shove it. We're all just children at heart. We don't have that kind of money, even though we're adults, all right? Because now we have bills to pay. $20, between $15 and $20 for a nice figure. Do the whole crew. Also would love to see, now I'm going to try to find this picture for Nikki because I'm hoping she'll put it in. Someone at some point in time customized Monster High dolls to be Winnie, and I think they might have done all of them, but the picture in my brain, it's been a while, it's Winnie and Phantasma. Spot on. 2 of the most beautiful dolls I think I've ever seen somebody make. Monster High is always doing collabs with different properties. They did Wednesday dolls. They did Wednesday and Enid, I think is the blonde chick. They did dolls of those. Monster High could release like a licensed Ghoul School girls line, and I would be all over that. I think that would be fantastic. But yeah, if anything, any of the Scooby movies or properties I would love to see toys of, I think it's Ghoul School.
I think they would have made good figures for that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Devin, your final thoughts?
My final thoughts are my favorite joke of the whole movie. And it's not even that funny. So it's going to be just me that finds it funny. It's when they're like sleeping or whatever, and there's some bats, and Scooby's like, Shaggy, rats, rats. And Shaggy hands Scooby 2 mouse traps, and he says, here, what's he say? He says, like, here, take 2 of these and call me in the morning. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. So dumb. I absolutely loved it. Also, I brought, okay. We got Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School VHS,
Nice.
okay? The one I had growing up. Fantastic. Just artwork. Okay.
I still don't like that it has green shirt Shaggy when it was red shirt Shaggy in the movie.
And also, why doesn't it have like Sibella on it? Because she is like the main girl. You know what I
True.
mean?
Good
Kind of
point.
weird. And also, the back has Scooby like as a teacher. Kind
Yeah.
of interesting.
And
We've
it was
got-
really Shaggy that was the teacher.
Okay, we've got this other one. Don't mind that stuff on there. That's from somebody else. We got Ghoul School. He's got his red shirt on there. Let's see. I didn't look at the back. What are we rocking with?
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think that's
Mhm.
better than this one. And
Agreed.
then I've also got it on Betamax, not VHS. And this one's a bit different too. They've got like
Oh, I
the
love
hats
that.
on.
I love
They're
that.
all yeah, right? Like they're sitting in class. We didn't get a scene of them like actually teaching anything.
No.
But like the shadow is great. There's that logo again, but it's
Mm,
like pink on here, so that's a little bit different.
yeah.
And the back, just a shot of the girls, it looks like.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I think that might be the best design overall.
Agreed. Yep.
Just thought I'd share. I think that's interesting with all the different releases and the different art that has like nothing to do with the movie, but it's cool.
Just a little life hack if you would like to know and try this. If you write over that Sharpie with a dry erase marker, it will come off.
I can't.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just
I can't
saying.
do it. I can't do it.
Part of the history of it now, right?
It has history. This is somebody else. This belonged to Brian and sorry, I already put their name on here. I won't say it. Never mind. Brian.
Joel, your final thoughts on the Ghoul School movie?
I've got 2. So the decapitated hand or whatever,
Mhm.
was that like a severed hand or was it just an invisible ghost wearing a white glove?
I think it was just a hand.
Because it's always like higher up, like at normal hand level.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just raised new concerns in my head about Invisible Man with white glove at a girls' school. Could have been Invisible
Oh my
Woman,
God,
though.
Joel.
I mean, it's a valid concern.
It's a valid concern.
It's same as hiring Shaggy to be the gym teacher at a girls' school.
And I have another thought, like, that's not part of my second thought. At the start, Scooby's saying lightning, and Shaggy's correcting him, saying, "You mean lightning, lightning." It's like, you've been together forever. Like, you should know, Scooby. It just bothered me.
That's for us, the audience.
I guess so, but he doesn't have to say, "You mean this." I mean, Shaggy should know better. Final thought, though. Nikki, you posted a trailer for this movie 7 years ago. And if you watch it, I want to exaggerate and say 50% of it, but it's probably more like 30%, are scenes from Zombie Island intercut with this movie. So imagine like the bait and switch and level of disappointment of watching Zombie Island, then being baited into watching this movie, which they're opposite sides of the Scooby spectrum. I guess they knew like they just couldn't show all things from Ghoul School to attract people to see it, maybe. Marketing. It was Nikki wrote in the comments, it was from Scooby-Doo Goes to Hollywood. It was like a trailer, bonus trailer on the DVD. But yeah, it's just funny because they show like all the gang in the van in Zombie Island, and they have like their camera gear. And none of the gang, other than Scooby and Shaggy, are in this. I don't think they show Scrappy in the trailer.
Weird.
I'll have to watch that because I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Probably just stole it from somewhere and threw it on YouTube.
Probably. And there's also like a YouTube video of the real trailer in 4K, and it looks amazing. Like it's just, you can see, it looks like a way better movie than the movie I watched. Because I watched the YouTube version because I was too lazy to.
I watched the YouTube version also, and I felt like each piece that was like less than 5 minutes long
Yeah.
felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
Why didn't anybody tell me this was on YouTube?
You guys should have watched it on Internet Archive. That's where I watched it. It's like super high def. It's awesome.
I was just too lazy to.
I
have YouTube on my TV.
I found mysteryincorporated.com. Have you guys heard of this?
No.
Go to mysteryincorporated.com. And that's all I'll say.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I'll say. I do have one more thing that we did not mention, which I feel like we need to mention, is that the evil mirror Shaggy, we didn't talk about him at all. He's got a great little design, even though it's simple, which I prefer. Instead of him turning into a big weird monster, I like how simple it is. He's great, and it's awesome hearing Casey Kasem like do some different voice work for Shaggy that's all like gravelly and cool like that. Needed to mention that because we did not talk about him at all.
That's also like, to me, the scariest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Like that character is genuinely frightening.
I watched this again, like maybe 20 years ago, and which I watched it a lot growing up actually, but I haven't seen it in a long time. So like in my mind, I was like, that was a big part of the movie. And it kind of wasn't that big part of the movie.
Yeah.
So, but he was really cool. I liked him a lot. So another point for that, actually.
I hadn't watched this movie in so long that I forgot that he was a mirror monster and thought that Shaggy turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it and I'm like, wait, is that how it was the first time I watched this? But yeah, I don't know. I don't get the appeal of this movie. I get that, the designs are really cool. The background art is really cool. The story sucks. I guess I can't say the story sucks. It just...
A lot of padding.
Yes. It was way longer than it needed to be. I mean, watching it just in these little clips, it felt so long. And I don't remember it being such an unlikable movie. Wendy's face is like, Nikki, never coming on.
I mean, it's fine. You can all be wrong. It's fine.
Hey, I'm middle of the road
together.
I'm in the middle.
You can all be wrong.
But there were some good parts of this, like Matches was really cool. I liked him. The robes for Dracula and for Matches were cool. You know, there were some funny little jokes thrown in and that kind of stuff. So it
I
was
want
it
that
was
miniature.
entertaining at parts, but yeah, overall I didn't like the story. And I do think that if they would have done it Wendy's way, where the volleyball scene was at the end, it probably would have worked out better.
You're gonna have to re-edit it, Wendy.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm like, somebody needs to re-edit it just for the sake of seeing what it would be like and how much of a difference it would or wouldn't make.
It would for sure be better. It just would. It would for
Yeah.
sure be better.
I think it would be. I think it would make more sense. I think it would flow better because the way
Yeah.
that it was just so choppy. Like it just didn't
was.
make any sense.
Yeah, agreed.
So. All right, we are going to wrap things up. Before we do, let everyone know where they can find you on social media. And Wendy and Scrappy, we'll start with you.
Yep. You can find Scrappy and me on Twitter X. Wendy loves yep. What is my Twitter? Wow. It started pouring rain as soon as I opened my mouth, and it took me completely out of what I was doing. Twitter X, Wendy loves Jesus. Instagram, Wendy Bridge, where Scrappy is there too. Wherever I am, you will find Scrappy. And my blog is wendylovesjesus.wordpress.com. There is a derogatory post about Scrappy that I wrote years ago. I'm tempted to remove it though, because I did it as a joke for a friend. And
now you can't because everyone needs to read it.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, Scrappy.
Devin.
You can find me and Wendy hanging out in the field with our new friend, the Creeper.
Oh my God, Devin.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Joel.
Oh.
You can find me on YouTube. Just type in Planet Scooby.
And you can find all my links on ScoobyAddicts.com. Let us know your thoughts on Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, and thank you for joining us for another Scooby panel. Thank you for tuning in to another Scooby panel. I'm Nikki Blake from ScoobyAddicts.com. If you like these panels, please subscribe to my channel for more great discussions. A huge shout out to our patrons, Julie Rosen, Ross from ScoobyFan.net, Tanis, Garrett Spencer, Paul the Scooby Dude, and Jesse. If you would like to support the Scooby panel, please go to patreon.com/ScoobyAddicts. A very special thank you to artist, blogger, and Scooby collector Wendy Bridge, Joel from Planet Scooby, and miniature artist Devin Smith. Scooby Panel is available in podcast form on most podcast platforms or as a web series on YouTube. You can find Scooby Panel on Instagram, Facebook, and X as @ScoobyPanel. We are part of the Collector's Maze Network, where you can find all things geek. Scooby and Shaggy were voiced by Scott Innes. Check out Scott's website, onescottshop.com. Scooby Addicts artwork by Will Davenport. Scooby Panel logo by Garrett Spencer. Video editing by Nikki Blake. Music composed and performed by Bovine Nightmares. Please join us next time for another Scooby panel.